Well, good morning, everybody. I did not get enough sleep last night, but I am committed to doing this, and I'm going to do this every day, and I hope that I can challenge anybody else out there to do the same, to be committed to reading their word every day, at least every weekday. If you want to do it with me, that's great. So we're going to hop in because 5 minutes is not a very long time, and I've learned that. So we're going to hop in today. We're in John chapter 1. We're going to get through it eventually, but with just 5 minutes, it's going to take us a little bit. But we got some great stuff here in John chapter 1 to go over. So yesterday we talked about what is the light you're shining. That's what John the Baptist was. He was a witness to the true light that we talked about yesterday, and so that was a question from yesterday, is what is your witness? What light are you shining in your sphere of influence? And today we're starting in verse 10, and it says, "He was in the world, and though the world was made through him," talking about Jesus, "the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Yet to all who received him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God, children born not of natural descent, nor of human decision, or of a husband's will, but born of God." There it's actually referencing that we are his masterpiece, but that's just a side note. Verse 14 says, "The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only who came from the Father, full of grace and truth." John testifies concerning him. He cries out saying, "This was he of whom I said, he who comes after me has surpassed me because he was before me." From the fullness of his grace, we have all received one blessing after another. We're going to keep going. "For the law was given through Moses, grace and truth." You'll see that over and over again, especially in chapter 1. "Grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God, but God, the one and only, who is at the Father's side, has made him known." So this is talking about Jesus from John the Baptist's perspective. That was John the Baptist's job, was to tell people about Jesus and to proclaim that he was coming, and he was coming soon. And so the main focus in the Gospel of John is who Jesus is. And we've kind of already talked about that, so I won't go over it too much. But the main focus for us to understand from John's Gospel's perspective is that Jesus and God are the same. That's a huge concept, and 5 minutes is not a long time to go over that. But today I want to focus on kind of not one verse or one specific thing, but more of just the vibe of what John is telling us here. He's telling us, obviously, that Jesus is God, but he's saying that there is a lot of evidence to this. All right? He says that we were created by him, and everything was created by him. So I don't know what you believe about God. I do hope that these videos reach people that aren't Christians and reach people that don't know much about the Bible, or that have certain beliefs that don't share with mine, and that'd be great, honestly. But I believe that Jesus is God and God created the world. That's what I believe, and I'm not ashamed to believe it, and that's what I'll say here. But it's crazy to me how, in my brain at least, for those of you who disagree with me, that's fine, but in my brain at least, it's crazy how undeniable creation is. Like, if you think about yourself, if you think about your body, your brain, if you think about the world, one of the coolest things about moving to where me and Maddie live right now is we actually got lucky and kind of live on a little plot of land that's about 2 acres, and we get to see the sunrise in the mornings, and we get to see the sunsets in the evening. And I don't know about you, but there's so many things in creation itself that are just like unbelievably awesome, and I don't understand how any other answer to that is enough other than God made it. But that's just my personal opinion, but this is kind of what John is getting at here, is he says that there is a God, that Jesus and God are the same, and that it is an undeniable thing when you look at the world around you. You take your body, for instance, the way we grow, the way we were created, the way that a human's eyes look, or the way that our heart works. God created all those things. And he says he created them in the fullness of grace and truth. So not just were we created, not just were we put into existence, but we were put into existence with a purpose. And that's so powerful and helpful to me. I don't know about y'all, but if you didn't know, right now I don't have a job, all right, in the world standards, but I was still made with a purpose. Everybody was made with a purpose. We weren't just made, we were made with a purpose. And the purpose was to share God's truth, and the purpose was to experience his grace. That's what John is getting at here. Is it says not just there's a God, but that God is Jesus. And Jesus created us, and not just created us, but he created us in grace and truth and with a purpose. So I don't know about you today, but I want to ask you, what is your purpose? Do you believe you have a purpose? Do you believe that you were created for a reason? Do you believe that there is a God, and that God made you, and that God has a plan for your life? If you don't, that's okay. I'm not here to make you feel bad or to judge you, but I just want to ask you, how does that make you feel? How does that help you get along in life? The hardest part about my specific situation right now in life is I kind of feel like I don't have a purpose. And I'm just being honest with you. I'm not trying to get any emotions out of you, but I kind of feel a lack of a purpose because I don't have a job right now. And if I didn't believe in God, and if I didn't have a plan for my life, or believe that there was a God that made me in a specific way for a specific thing to do, then I would feel that I didn't have a purpose. And so that's my question for today out of these couple verses in John is, what do you believe your purpose is? Do you believe your purpose is to just exist? Do you believe your purpose is to just be a good person? Do you believe your purpose is to serve the God you believe in? Do you believe your purpose is to love people? Or do you just not know? It's okay to be in either of those spots, but if you're reading God's word and you have a relationship with him, he says he has a purpose for you. He created you for a reason. He's a good and loving God, full of grace and truth. And he wants us to live with a purpose. So I hope that can encourage you today. It encourages me to know that I have a purpose even when it feels like I don't. And I hope you can walk away from even just this video today or one of your devotionals feeling like, at least today, that you have a purpose and that there's a God that loves you. So we'll see you tomorrow.